Welcome back to Primitive Organic Garden. Today I just wanted to film a quick garden update because I noticed that the last 5 or 6 videos were all guitar stuff, and I think I'm trying to go for a balance between guitar and garden videos. The garden videos are a lot harder to film because it's always hot and there's mosquitoes. The guitar videos are pretty easy. I can sit in the house and just film at my leisure. Anyway, I wanted to talk about something a little different today. So last week we talked about levels of food security and how you can start out, improving your personal food security, in very basic ways at first. Put a couple trays of microgreens under some fluorescent lights in the kitchen, or, put a couple potted herb plants in the windowsill, put a raised bed in your front yard. Slowly, just work your way up to the point where you're not really having to buy a lot of food anymore. Today I want to talk about levels of ecological control. I really encourage everyone to look up the history of the lawn. Why do people have lawns? What is the function of a lawn? How did lawn culture begin? Where did it begin and why? What does it mean? What are the implications? I know it sounds like kind of a silly topic, but it's not. There's a lot of great information. A lot of it's historical. A lot of history type of things about lawns. I saw a YouTube video the other day that was called something about dandelions and civilization, or I don't remember the exact title. I'll try to put a comment later on this video with it, but it was something. If you YouTube Google search dandelions and civilization, you'll probably find it. It was like a 15 or 20 minute video by a historian. He talked about why dandelions have been so successful and how they've followed humans to every continent that we've settled. But levels of control. The lawn is perhaps the most control that we strive to have over our immediate ecological environment. The lawn is something that we, not we, but many of us spend a lot of time and money and fossil fuels and, sweat equity trying to maintain. And it doesn't produce food for us, it doesn't produce fiber for us, it doesn't produce fuel for us. It is purely an aesthetic pleasure, but for most it is not even that. It is simply a manifestation of control, or rather the illusion of control. We think that, by planting a lawn and maintaining a pristine lawn that is, free from pests, weeds, and diseases, and, broadleaf plants and other things that would naturally be there, that somehow convinces us that we are in control, at least of our own immediate environment. And while that's not true, that illusion of control is very attractive to a lot of people, especially in a world that is increasingly chaotic, and many people feel as though they have almost no control over anything in their lives. But that lawn is something you can control. You can get out there every 5 or 7 days and you can put that fossil fuel in that mower and that weed whacker, and you can make sure that grass stays below 4 inches. It's kind of ironic. I live in a rundown trailer park in the deep south, and we have lawns that we are required by the Property Management Association to maintain. It's kind of funny, the Property Management Association is from Colorado, where there's not a whole lot of grass and lawns because a lot of it is cold and high desert and dry, and I'm sure there's some lawns there and a lot of wealthy places, but they probably have to water them regularly in the summer and maybe reseed them in the spring if the grass dies in the winter. But the culture out there is much, I don't want to say smarter, but people out there understand the illusion of things like lawns, and I think a lot of people out there would spend their time and resources and use their land wisely to produce food. But here in this rundown trailer park in the south, we are forced to maintain lawns. And if our lawn is found to be above 4 inches, the trailer park will hire a company to cut the lawn for us and send us a massive bill, which they actually profit off of. It's a really interesting scheme. The company that they contract with to cut the lawns doesn't charge them anywhere near what they actually bill the resident for if the lawn gets above 4 inches. So they're, you know, getting quite a serious kickback from that. But anyway, so luckily in the trailer park we're not required to like water lawns or put weed killer on lawns or fertilizer on lawns. You know, there's some other neighborhoods where you can get, you know, notices from your HOA if you don't water your grass in the summer, which is an unbelievable waste of resources. But it's not unbelievable when you think about the history of lawns. It is the hallmark of conspicuous consumption. It doesn't look like you're consuming anything, but you are. You're consuming your time, you're consuming your energy, you're consuming your money buying things like fertilizer for the lawn and fungicides for the lawn and insecticides for the lawn. And my next door neighbor brought in sod the other day because he's got a part of his lawn that floods all the time, and it has killed most of the grass he's tried to plant. Again, it's ironic because the history of the lawn, I'm not going to go into it, I hope you watch some of the videos about it, but the history of a lawn, it was fundamentally a way for the wealthy elite to give a huge middle finger to anybody that was working class or poor or blue collar and producing their own food. It was simply a giant statement that we are so incredibly wealthy and privileged that we can afford to waste large patches of land with unproductive grass that does not provide fuel, fiber, or food for us. And that may seem less dramatic in the 21st century where, you know, most people just buy all their food at a grocery store and it's ridiculously cheap because it's imported from third world countries with no environmental and labor standards, and it's all, you know, shipped around the world with cheap fossil fuels, and it's economies of scale, and it's just, you know, you're buying trash most of the time and it's really cheap. But